Good morning, students. Today we start with your new topic, that is CMOS inverter. In the previous classes, we have discussed about RTL inverter and NMOS inverter. The problem with your resistive load inverter is area, and as far as your NMOS load inverters are being concerned, the other problem is your standby or static power dissipation. It means when your device is not operating, still it is consuming some amount of power. So that leads to wastage of power. So to get rid of that, this another configuration, that is for CMOS inverter, is being used. So let's discuss this. So before we get into detail, I would like to discuss some of the properties of CMOS that make CMOS a favorable candidate in the era of VLSI. So in CMOS, we talk about the first advantage, that it gives you full rail to rail swing. So what does this term means? Full rail to rail swing. You know that your power starts from 0 to VDD. So in CMOS, there is no power consumption either by your load or your driver. So in that case, your signal zero level is at 0 and high level it as VDD. So that's why your output swings between 1 and 0, or maybe VDD and 0, whatever the voltage level is. So that's the advantage. Second advantage of your CMOS is, as you are having a full rail to rail swing, we are getting high noise margins. So that's again favorable as far as your noisy environments are being concerned. Third advantage of CMOS being used in implementing digital circuits is that logic levels not dependent upon relative device sizes. That means if I am having a particular WL, then your logic levels do not change. It remains same for different WL ranges. That's again advantage. Then transistor can be minimum size. Yes, we can have a transistors with minimum size. That means if you are using 90 nanometer technology, your length is 90 nanometer. So WL can be 1. That means width can be 90 nanometer, length can be 90 nanometer. So this is the minimum size transistor that can exist on your chip. Another thing is, your device is CMOS is ratioless. That means there is no fixed ratio in which you're supposed to implement your things. So it is a ratioless. So when we discuss about actual implementation of CMOS, we will get the idea of these 4 parameters in detail. But right now, before we beginning the topic, I would like to discuss this, that these are the certain features as far as CMOS properties are being concerned. So when we talk about this, you are having a path to VDD or ground in a steady state. So this gives you no power during steady state. So I will discuss this later on after this slide. Then it is having a low output impedance. That means your output resistance in kilo ohm ranges. Then large fan out. That means more number of devices can be connected at the output. Other advantage is extremely high input resistance. So as we know that gate of MOS transistor is almost having a working as a perfect insulator. So its input resistance is quite high. Another thing is nearly zero steady state input current. As this resistance is quite high, so no current will enter the device from input side. So that's again advantage. So this is one more thing, that no direct path steady state between power and ground. That means when there is steady state, there is no path between power and ground, and that leads to no static power dissipation. This is again a definition. Another thing is, when we talk about propagation delay of your CMOS, then delay is actually function of your load capacitance and resistance of the transistors. So this is again a good thing. If you want to increase or decrease the delay, as per your requirement. Normally we try to decrease it. We have to just change your load capacitance and resistance of your transistor. So this is a very good illustration of the things we are going to study. So this is your CMOS inverter. Here we are having a PMOS and this is your NMOS. Now all the terms are being included with a subscript P and N. So this stands for voltage at the input, voltage at this particular point between source and ground, and this is for PMOS. Similarly, source and drain for PMOS, this is drain current pertaining to your PMOS. Similarly, the current entering in this channel will leaves. So your drain current of PMOS is equal to drain current of NMOS, and this is gate to source voltage for NMOS. So for PMOS, the parameters are Kp and VTP. VTP is threshold of PMOS, and Kn is for NMOS, and VTN is threshold voltage of NMOS. Now, when your input is 1, this is high, so that means your PMOS is off. PMOS is off for positive inputs, and this is off, so that means this is on. So whatever we have in the previous cycle at output will be drained, so your output becomes 0. On the contrary, if your input is 0, so that means this is on. Now some of you may ask, sir, why this is on 0? So the reason for that is when you're applying a 0 input, so source is at 0, sorry, gate is at 0, but your source is at VDD. So overall, your VGS P is equal to minus VDD. So that means now this is minus VDD with relative to this. So that means this is a negative voltage, and corresponding to negative voltage, this PMOS is on. So when your PMOS is on, so that means it will conduct, and this will not conduct. And we will discuss about this in the coming slides. Now, Kn and Kp are two terms. So Kn is related to your NMOS and Kp is related to PMOS. Now, if you are having a capacitor here, then what happens? If this is 0, input is 0, this is off. So that means your capacitance will be charged through this particular path. Your capacitance will be charged through this particular path, like this. So this is basically pulling up the voltage level of your capacitance. So that's why we call it as pull-up network. This is your pull-up network. Similarly, when this is high, this is off, and whatever capacitance voltage at this particular point, charge at this particular point, will be drained through this particular NMOS. So because this charge is being discharged through this particular path, we are actually pulling down the potential. So this is called pull-down network. This is pull-up network. This is pull-down network. Now, the speed of operation, the time which is being consumed in pulling up the capacitance and in pulling down the capacitance is actually deciding the speed of operation, because overall your time period is time period of charging, time period of discharging. So this constitutes one cycle. So that means suppose my input is 0 and 1. In one cycle, I am having 1, 0 and 1. So that constitutes one cycle. So how much time is being consumed for charging of this capacitance and discharging of that capacitance? That accounts for your speed of operation of your device. Now next thing is extreme cases. So when your input is 0, then this will conduct, this will not conduct. So IDP is having some non-zero value, but normally when they both of them not conducting, this current is equal to this current is equal to 0. And when they conduct for a very small period, they are having a non-zero value. So we will discuss about this later on. Now your VO out, that means V out is when your input is 1, output is 0. So V out is the maximum value of V out is VDD. That is what we are talking about. And maximum value of output is 0. Sorry, minimum value of 0, output is 0. So that is 0. So that means whenever you are using CMOS as an inverter, you are getting a full voltage swing. Your signal will swing from 0 to VDD. In the conventional case, we have some losses because of this particular load. So that is being avoided in your CMOS. So this is the advantage of your CMOS inverter. Now, these are the characteristics of your device. So this gives you some fair idea how we can discuss this. So here you can see this is your input being varied from 0 to 2.5, and correspondingly when your input start increasing beyond 1 volt, that means when your V in is equal to VIL, that what happens, your output start falling like this. A point is there, this is called VTH, and again at a point your output goes to 0 beyond this particular point. So in the initial portion this is on, and when your input is further increased, this is on and this is off. So what is the actual set of events? Initially when your input is 0, that means we are actually applying minus VDD plus VT naught P at this particular transistor. VT naught P is the threshold voltage of the PMOS. So minus 5 plus your VT naught P, that depends upon your PMOS to PMOS, what is the value of threshold voltage. But here this is minus VDD plus VT naught P. So what happens, this is on. So this leads to charging of this particular capacitance, and this is off. Now when your input head is at this particular point, this is on and this is off. Okay, because VGS is equal to VDD, this is equal to VDD. So VGS is overall VDD minus VDD is equal to 0. So you're applying nothing here. So that means this is off. So now this will discharge. So this is being used for charging this capacitor, and this is being used to discharging this capacitor. So overall what happens, your corresponding to input, your output is 1 or 0. So when output is 1, that means your capacitor is fully charged. When your output is 0, your capacitor is discharged. So the set of transistors which actually charge the capacitance is called pull-up network, and set of transistors which discharges the capacitor are called pull-down network. Why I am using set of transistors? Because later on we will implement NAND gate, NOR gate using your CMOS technology. So that's why I am using this particular term. Now, there are certain points. This is point at this particular location. Here, your NMOS is off because your input is 0. So what happens? 0 means it is less than threshold voltage, so this is off. So here we can see your NMOS is off, and your PMOS is actually acting as a resistance. So that means your PMOS is linear. One thing I would like to summarize here, when your transistor is operating in linear region, it is being used as resistance, and when your transistor is being used in saturation region, it is basically used as your current source. So you get the, remember the characteristics, your input increases, output increases like this, and become constant. So when your input is increasing, it is resistive, output is increasing, it is resistive, and when output becomes constant, it is acting as a current source. So here your device is actually in linear region, so it is resistive. Now here, when your input is slightly greater than threshold, your output is at higher value because this capacitance is charged. So this leads to your this particular condition, that your PMOS is still in linear region while your NMOS is in saturation region. Now, in the middle of this is called threshold voltage. So this is your VOH, and this is your VIL, this is your VTH, this is your VIH. So here This is also in saturation. This is also in saturation. I will give you the details of this in the coming slides. And later on, at this particular point, again, now your NMOS becomes operated in linear region while your PMOS is in saturation region. And in the last, when your PMOS is off, this is in linear region. So now when you actually calculating the various values for VIH, VIL, VOH and VTH, what happens? You should be sure in which region your device is actually operating. So quite a simple thing. This current is equal to this current. So can be easily calculated. You know this current is equal to this current. So if this is in saturation region, this is in linear region, substitute the two values, equate, you will get the value of VIH. Here you will get the value of VTH, here you will get the value of VIL. Here we will be looking forward for other aspects in the coming slides. This is just the idea how we can go for your CMOS device VTC and how different region transistors operate when we actually go for calculations. So now this we have already discussed, but just to give you the idea, your region can be divided into 5 different regions. In some books it has been given as A, B, C, D, E, and but the main idea about this entire exercise is you should be aware of that if your input is here, in which region your device is operating. So where input is less than this, that means your PMOS is in linear region while your NMOS is off. When your input is in this particular region, then your PMOS is in such linear while your NMOS is in saturation. When both the devices are in this particular region, this is in saturation, this is in saturation. When your input is at this particular point, then your device goes into linear, this into saturation, and last but not the least, when your input is at this particular point, this is off and this is in a linear region. So this is how things move. This is what a very important illustration. Here, your PMOS is being represented with the help of resistor. So when your device is off, your PMOS is actually acting as a resistance. So that means this will charge, and when this is off, your NMOS is actually acting as a resistance, and this will discharge. So here Vin is equal to V0 and Vin is equal to VDD. Now some of you may ask the thing that how the power dissipation happens. Yeah, there are certain cases. If you look here, when both the devices, this in saturation and this in saturation, maximum power dissipation happens. And from this region to this region, your device is prone to power dissipation. That means there is a very small moment for which this is also on, this is also on. And during that duration, there is a direct contact between VDD and ground, and your device consumes power. So that is another thing. How fast your device is actually responding. So that is being determined by the time to charge your load capacitance through discharge load capacitance, yes, like this. So that depends upon what is the load capacitance. And load capacitance is not the external capacitance you are adding. It is basically all the capacitances of MOS and NMOS are bunched up together and equivalent capacitance is there. So this is not the external, this is related to your NMOS and PMOS. Just to make things simple, what we have done, we have actually lumped all the capacitive components to a single load capacitance. So now these are the certain things which are very important. when we talk about NMOS transistor, we can see that your transistor is actually in such kind of regions of operation. When your input is less than threshold voltage of NMOS, then what happens? Your device is in cutoff. When your input is output is less than your input minus threshold voltage of NMOS, then your device is in linear region. NMOS. This is for NMOS. And when your output is greater than V in minus threshold voltage of NMOS, then in that case, what you actually do, you can say your device is saturated. Similarly, we can say about your PMOS transistor, that how things goes like. I hope you get some understanding of the things, because today I just want to calculate, sorry, not calculate, just want to have a fair idea about your CMOS inverter in the briefest possible manner, so that in the next class we can go for mathematical calculations. So, how do you feel like that you get some idea about this, or it's you need some more time to understand this? Yes, you get some idea about CMOS inverter.
Yes, sir. Idea मिल गया थोड़ा.
Okay, but I'm not getting into the mathematical equation today only, because it will be very hectic thing. But I want you people to get some idea that how your device is in operating in linear region, how your device is operating in saturation region, what are the various factors. Because in inverter, what might you have seen, that when you are applying zero input into the PMOS, still it is on. So how it can be possible? So that things you should be quite aware of. Okay.